Hello and welcome back. Let us continue solving our past exam papers, which is helpful for the coming grade 12 national examination. Those questions are considered as challenging problem from past model exams and national exams. So the first question, it says consider the lines L1, which is x plus y equals 0, and the second line L2 to x minus y plus 4 equals 0. So there are two lines given which are in the xy plane, and let beta be the angle between them, which is measured from L1 to L2. So what is the value of tan beta? The question is here, what is the value of tan beta? So remember, in the xy plane, assume this is x-axis and this one is y-axis, and if we have two lines, let's say this one is L1, another line, let me draw here just L2. So obviously when two lines cross each other, they will make an angle between them. This angle, let's say it's measured from L1 to L2, let it be beta. So how to get tan of this beta, I mean tan of the angle beta? The formula is m2 minus m1 the whole over 1 plus m1 times m2. What's m2 and what's m1? You know, m2 means slope of the second line, m1 is the slope of the first line. So everything is all about substitution, but this formula will be stated using angle of inclination and their slope. You know, every line has angle of inclination, which will be measured from the positive x-axis in the counterclockwise direction. So that angle, okay, tan of angle of the inclination angle and the slope of the line are equal. So using those rules, it can be proved. Anyways, we have two lines now, L1 and L2, and we need to find tan of beta. So I'm going to apply this formula. So we have two lines, obviously. The given line, the first line here it is x plus y equals to 0. So we can take x to the other side, so y equals to negative x. That means the coefficient of the x is the slope, obviously, m1 will be negative 1. The second line, as you see here it is, it says 2x minus y plus 4 equals to 0. So if I take just the y to the other side, what left? 2x plus 4 remain. That means systematically you can make the y alone, y equals to 2x plus 4. So the coefficient of x will be the slope. So now we identified the slope. Since we need to find tan beta, and we say the formula is m2 minus m1 the whole over 1 plus m1 m2, you can directly substitute 2 minus negative 1 the whole over 1 plus 2 times negative 1, which is 3. It will be added here, negative negative, so the down will be negative 1. So 3 over negative 1 will be negative 3, so the answer will be D. The second question, what is the sum of the series? We have a series here, summation of 4 over 2 the power of n minus 2 over n in bracket n plus 1. N starts from 1 to infinity. Okay, this series I can break down and write it for common 1 over 2 the power of n starts from 1 to infinity, minus 2 1 over n in bracket n plus 1. I can write it in this way. N starts from 1 to infinity. What did I do? Let me explain. First of all, it's minus here at the middle. That means I can write it separately, and this 4, it's a constant. You can extract, here it is, and then what remain? 1 over 2 the power of n left. When you come to the second one, here it is again, there is 2 here as a numerator. We can bring it out, and then what remain? 1 over n into n plus 1. Okay, then our next step now, we have to do this part alone. The first one, the first sum, let's complete it. To do the first sum, let us mention some of the terms. Like when you insert 1, it will be 1 over 2 plus, when you insert 2, it will be 1 over 4, when you insert 3, 1 over 8. It continues, as you see. Okay, 1 over 2 the power of 1, 2 the power of 2, it goes. That means here it's a geometric sequence G1, which is equal to 1 over 2, and the common ratio will be also 1 over 2. If you divide G2 by G1 or G3 by G2, you'll get the same result, which is 1 over 2. So our focus must be on the common ratio. This common ratio is it is between -1 and 1. That means it's less than 1 anyways. So if it is less than 1, the sum at infinity can be found by the formula G1 over 1 minus R. I can apply this formula. That means G1 is 1 over 2 over 1 minus 1 over 2, which will be 1 over 2 over 1 over 2 when you subtract 1 minus. That means which is equal to 1. So in another way, the first sequence, okay, or the first series, this one, it's going to be 4 times 1, which is 4. Let's keep it, the first part. Then when you go to the second part, we have to go to new page. Our series is 2 summation of 1 over n into n plus 1. N starts from 1 to infinity. Okay, first of all, we have to decompose. This is a rational function. That is 1 over n into n plus 1. So I can write this one as a over n plus b over n plus 1. As you see, both of them are linear, the down part. So by crisscross, what I will have, a in bracket n plus 1 plus bn. This is decomposition, don't forget, which is equal to 1. I can make it equal to the numerator part. I can ignore the denominator. Then by cases, if n is equal to 0, that means this will be 0, then 0 plus 1, so a equal to 1. I can get a easily. And if a equals to -1, when I substitute -1 here, it will be 0, so negative b is equal to 1. That means b is equal to -1. So now our series will be, forget the 2, the series will be the summation 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. You know, the a value is 1 and the b value is -1, so I make it, so n starts from 1 to infinity. So what will be the sum of this sequence? Let's mention some of the terms. When I insert 1, it will be 1 minus 1 over 2, plus when I insert 2, 1 over 2 plus minus 1 over 3, plus when I insert 3, I'm inserting like the first term, second term, and when I substitute 3, it will be 1 over 3 minus 1 over 4. It goes. If I need the n sum, it will be 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. It will be. So when you try to see here now, -1 over 2 is 1 over 2, -1 over 3 is 1 over 3. It cancel out the middle term. Everything will be cancelled out, and the beginning and the last remain. That means 1 minus 1 over n plus 1 remain. So by crisscross, n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 1 remain, which is n over n plus 1. What is this? This is the sum of the given series at n, simply. Okay, this is we call it Fibonacci or Fibonacci sequence. So, but we are not asked sum at n. We got it. We are asked sum at infinity. This is sum of n. This is sum of n, but we are asked the sum of n at infinity. So that means what I will do now, I will find the limit of sum of n as n goes to infinity, which is the limit of sum at n. We got it already. Here it is, n over n plus 1. Okay, that means the limit of n over n plus 1 as n goes to infinity. This limit I can divide by n each of them. It will be 1 over 1 plus 1 over n. So as n goes to infinity, this part will be 0, but the remaining is 1. So now I have got it. Now let's get back. We said the 2 kept it already. Here it is. 2 times this limit, the whole become 1. So 2 times 1 left, which is equal to 2. Okay. Now let's get back to our previous. The first part already 2. The second part, the first part it is 4, and the second part we got it 2. So the summation, our summation will be the summation of our sequence, let's say fn, will be 4 minus 2, which is 2. So the answer should be A. Yeah, it's longer because there are 2 parts here to be done. A little bit challenging sometimes we may face. The purpose of this video is solving challenging problem. So every question doesn't mean like the same. there will be some questions which are challenging. That's why we are solving here. The next question, which one of the following is true about graph of rational function? We are given a function which is 2x plus 2 the whole over x square minus 1. When we are given a rational function, let's try to simplify first and then try to observe what happened. The numerator part, the 2 can be taken out and x plus 1. The denominator part, x square minus 1, can be factorized as x plus 1 and x minus 1. Then when you try to see here now, x plus 1 cancel with x plus 1, and then what remain? 2 over x minus 1. But what is cancelled here? X plus 1. That means the given original function will be undefined at x negative 1, one of the undefined point. That means at x is equal to negative 1, the final graph, this one, will make a whole. Okay, since it's undefined point, we are considering the original function. And the vertical asymptote is only the denominator will be 0, like the simplified one. The denominator part will be 0 at 1, so that at x is equal to 1. And the horizontal asymptote will be, since the degree of the numerator is smaller than the degree of the denominator, the horizontal asymptote will be like, I can say x-axis. So now let's see the choices. Say A says it has only one y-intercept. To get y-intercept, to get y-intercept, you have to put x is equal to 0. When you put x is equal to 0, what will happen? Like the last one, the simplified form. When we come to the simple, let's change the color. This is a simplified. This is our focus here. When you substitute 0 here, it will be negative 2. That means y is equal to negative. So that means this rational function will cross the y-axis at negative 2. So choice A is correct, yes. B, it has only one x-intercept. It has no x-intercept, because if you take the given function, which is the last one, the simplified one, 2 over x minus 1, if you make it equal to 0 and try to solve for x, by crisscross, you'll get 2 equal to 0, which is meaningless. 2 and 0 cannot be equal. So that means it has no x-intercept. So B is wrong. It is symmetric with respect to vertical line x is equal to 1, and it is symmetric with respect to vertical line x is equal to negative 1. So we cannot deduce the 2 or so, because to say it's symmetric with respect to origin or symmetric with respect to y-axis, the given function has to be either odd or even function. So the answer necessarily has to be A. The next question. Okay, the next question says this is f of x. F of x equals to it's a piecewise function, x square minus a square when x is less than 2, and 4 minus 2x square when x is greater or equal to 2. So what is the value of a if x is continuous at 2? Okay, if it is continuous at 2, what condition has to be satisfied? F of 2 is equal to the limit of the function as x approaching 2. But for f of 2, obviously I have to take the second part, because or equal to is found down. X is greater or equal to, so that I will substitute 2. So 4 times 4 minus 2 times 2 square, that means 4 minus 8, which will be negative 4. This is a functional value. But for the limit value, okay, either right hand or left hand, it has to be the same, because limit value and functional value must be the same to say a given function is continuous at a point. So this time I'll consider the limit value for the left side, which is, I will take this first function, x square minus a square x, when x goes to 2. I will substitute. When I substitute, I will get 4 minus 2a square. But the 2 has to be the same. So 4 minus, let me use another color, negative 4 is equal to 4 minus 2a square. So let us reshuffle. 2a square is equal to 8. If I divide by 2 both sides, a square is equal to 4. So a value must be plus or minus 2. So possibly a has 2 values. The answer should be C. The next question, frustum of regular square pyramid has slant height 5 centimeter and has lengths of bases 2 and 4. You know, frustum of regular pyramid, the base is a square, so we can draw simply pyramid first, but this pyramid will be cut out. Okay, that means the upper part, like this is a frustum, the upper part will be cut out. So what to do? Simply I can draw here so consider this is a frustum. So it says frustum of regular square pyramid has slant height 5. The slant height means the height which will be drawn from here to here. This is the slant height given to us 5 centimeter, and has lengths of the base 2 centimeter and 4 centimeter. The base, since it's square, the lower base is bigger, so that it's 4 each, and upper base each side will be 2. So what is lateral surface area? First of all, let's state the formula. Area lateral means half of perimeter of the base plus perimeter of the upper base, P prime I can see, times the slant height. This is a formula. PB means perimeter of the lower base, and P prime B means the perimeter of the upper base. So PB 4 times 4, because each side are 4 and it's a square, so it will be 16. P prime B, the upper base perimeter, 2 times 4, because 2 plus 2 plus 2 means 2 times 4, which is 8. And I have a slant height, so let's finish it. Half of perimeter of the base is the 2 base, 16 plus 8 times 5, which is half of 24 times 5. We can simplify, this will be 12, so that's going to be 60. So the answer should be, okay, see. The next one, equation of for the equation is given to us here. It is, okay, this is a conic section. Which one of the following is true? Is it ellipse or hyperbola? First we have to identify, and then once we identified whether it's ellipse or hyperbola, we need to get the center and the foci. So what to do? We have to apply completing the square method. For that purpose, let's collect the x's together. So for x squared plus 32x plus 7y minus 56y, which is equal to, take the constant to the other side, negative 1 over 148. 148 is taken to the other side. Then when you come to here, these two categories, let's take out first common, because x square and y square coefficient has to be 1. This is 7y square. Okay, when I take out 4 common, what remain? X square plus 8x plus, for the second part I will take out 7 y square minus 8y, which is equal to negative 148. Then according to the completing the square method rule, I will take the coefficient of x and the coefficient of y and then half it, then square it, add to the other side. So 4 bracket x plus half of 8 will be 4, square it, the whole, plus 7 again, half of 8 is 4 again, y minus 4 square. But the other side, negative 148 plus, here 4 square 16, 16 times 4 will be 64, plus again here the same thing, 4 square is 16, 16 times 7, I have to multiply it, 16 by 7, 2, 4, 111, 112 I mean, 112. So this sum will give us 28. It will give us 28. Okay, so now let's go to the next page and write what we have. Now we have 4 in bracket x plus 4 square plus 7 in bracket x minus 4 square, which is equal to 28. Then to make the right side 1, I have to divide by 28 each of them, because standard form of equation of ellipse and hyperbola, the other side is the right side must be 1. So when I simplify and write it, it will be x plus 4 the whole square over by 4 1 by 4 7 plus y minus 4 the whole square over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, now what do you see here? It's standard form, but it's plus. The middle one plus means it must be ellipse. So the answer must be either A or C. So what about the center? Okay, let's deal on the center now. The center here it's plus, so I'll take -1, -4 comma, here it's negative, so I'll take +1. So -4 comma 4. Let us check. -4 comma 4. A doesn't work, 4 comma -4 it says, but C -4 comma 4, yes. So now first we drop B and D because it's not hyperbola. Second, by observing the center we can, then the next one is foci. You can check the foci by applying the rule, since it is horizontal ellipse, because the coefficient, I mean the larger number of the denominator is found under the X families. So we can proceed to find the foci. Let me continue to the next question. The next question, it says, which one of the following is converse of the statement? The converse, don't forget the converse. But the statement, it says, if Ethiopia develops, then Africa grows. So what does that mean, converse? So what to do? First of all, remember, if we have a conditional statement, P implies Q, it will have inverse, converse, and contra positive. So what to do to get the inverse? Negate both. Negation of P implies negation of Q. This is the inverse. But the converse will be switch the place of P and Q. Q implies P. And the contrapositive is switch the place and negate both. Negation of Q implies negation of P. And when you come to truth value, obviously the contrapositive and the original are the same. Okay, for a given conditional statement, P implies Q. Okay, if it is true, the converse, I mean the contrapositive also will be true. If the given conditional statement false, then the contrapositive also false. That means the two are equivalent. The original one and the contrapositive are the same, but it's not the same as inverse. It's not the same as the converse. But what means inverse? Negate both. What means converse? Simply switch. So here our conditional statement: if Ethiopia develops, then Africa grows. So what will be the converse? The converse has to be, if Africa grows, then Ethiopia develops. So the answer should be B. Simply switching places. Okay, let's continue to the next question. Our next question is statistics. It says the following is the frequency of group data. The mean of the following frequency is 50. It's given the mean. Then what is the value of F1 and F2? What's given the mean? Not only actually the mean, we are given the total frequency too. Here it is, the total frequency, here it is. That means we can get something here. 17 plus F1 plus 32 plus F2 plus 19 is equal to 120. That means F1 plus F2 is equal to 120 minus, like we can add the constant, like 17 plus 32 plus 19. We can add them and then shift to the other side because all of them are constant. So what is the sum of these numbers? 68. So that when you take the difference, F1 plus F2 will be 52. Okay, keep it. This is one equation that we have. We need to find two variables, F1 and F2. So that means we should have two equations. One of the equation will be like simply by adding the total frequency, we can get it. Here it is, because the total frequency already given. But the other equation is not simple because we are given the mean. You know, to find the mean, we have to find first the class mark, that is xi. How to get a class mark? Add them, okay, the boundaries, and divide by 2. The first one will be 10, and the next one will be 30, and then 50, and then 70, and then 90. Then we have to multiply each xi, or each class mark has to be multiplied with the corresponding frequency, then will be added, okay, then divided by total frequencies. That's going to be equal to the mean. Okay, let's do it. Let me rub this part. So when you multiply xi with corresponding frequencies, the first part will be like 10 times 7 will be 170, and the second one 30 times f1 will be 30 f1. It goes in that way, so we have to add it, and then the sum will be 30 f1 plus 70 f2. Let me make the two together first, because these are the two which is containing the variable. The other numbers will be added, which will be 348 0. Then divide by total frequency. It is 120, which is equal to 50. This is given to you. So each of them containing last zeros, like the sum here. So we can cancel the last zeros for each. Then what remain with the denominator part, because that means they have 10 10. Taking out 10 and cancelling the last zero is fair. So what to do? 3f1 plus 7f2 plus 348 is equal to, I can multiply 12 by 50, which will be 60, and there will be 1 0. I can keep it. That means 3f1 plus 7f2 is equal to 600 minus 342. It will be 252. Okay, now we have two equations. f1 plus f2 is equal to, let's write it on the new page. f1 plus f2 is equal to 52. This is one of the equation. The other one, 3f1 plus 7f2. 3f1 plus 7f2, which is equal to 252. We have these two equations. Now to solve them, we can multiply one of the two by, just we can apply elimination process. I can multiply by 3 the first one, so it will be 3f1 plus 3f2, which is equal to, when I multiply by 3 6, 156 it will be. Then let's subtract it. When I subtract, this will be cancelled out. 4f2 remain, 7 minus 3, and then when I subtract 252, you know, it will be 2, 12 minus 6, again 14 minus 5 will be 92. Then I divide by 4, so what will be f2? 2, 12, 3. Okay, let's check it. Yeah, it was supposed to be, when you subtract, when you take the difference between them, it must be 96. So 96 divided by 4 will be 24. This is f2. So how to get f1? We can substitute in either of the two equations. f1 plus 24 is equal to 52. So f1 is equal to, we'll take 24 there, and it will be subtracted. 12 minus 4 is 8, 28. Yeah, so f1 is 28 and f2 is 24. 28 and 24, so the answer should be, you know, it is C. Yeah, again, this is also another challenging problem. Challenging means, you know, in math, a problem is challenging means it is time taking. It means it's a bit longer steps. Okay, the next question, again, it is logic or mathematical reasoning. Let P, Q and R be propositions with truth values. Okay, the P truth value is given to us false, and the Q is given to us true, and the R is also given to us true. We are given this respectively. So what is the truth values of the contrapositive? The contrapositive of P and negation Q implies R. But the good thing, this is a conditional statement, so the contrapositive truth value and the original will be the same. So I need to find only the truth values of this conditional statement. Then the contrapositive also will have the same truth value, because we said before a given conditional statement and its contrapositive will have the same truth value. Okay, let us substitute now. The P, it is false, and then Q is true, but negation of Q is again it's false, implies R is true. Actually false and false, you know, it's false. False implies whatever, it will be true, because it is implies. In case of implication, the only false case if it is premise true and conclusion false, but this is a premise originally false, so false implies whatever it is true. So the contrapositive also will be true, so the answer is A. The next one, f of x given, and then we need to find we are given f of x, which is negative of square root of 25 minus x squared. This is f of x, and then what's asked, the limit of f of x minus f of 1 over x minus 1 as x goes to 1. We don't have to calculate this. This is the same as the derivative of the function at 1. Okay, so that means I will derive the function. What will be the derivative of this function? Since it's square root, 1 over 2 times square root of 25 minus x squared. Don't forget the negative, here it is, I will keep it, times, by chain rule, the inner derivative is negative 2x squared. Okay, that means I can cancel negative 2 with negative 2, so the derivative, f derivative of x will be x squared over square root of 25 minus x squared. This is f derivative. So I need f derivative at 1, so I will substitute now 1. F derivative at 1 means when you substitute 1 over 25 minus 1 will be 24. 24 in the square root. So the answer should be directly written, that is D. Okay, the last one, but not the least one for this video. It says a metal box without top. That means it will open at the top. That means it is to be constructed from a square sheet of metal that is 10 centimeter on the side, by first cutting the square piece of the same size from the corners of the sheet and folding up sides in the figure shown below. What size squares should be cut in order to minimize the volume of the sheet? Okay, what's given, first of all, it was 10 by 10. Consider, like instead of drawing, it's already drawn there, like it was 10, the upper also it was 10, but from each x is cut out. That means it will be like, now it will be a box but open at the top, don't forget. But this length is now it's changed, it will be 10 minus 2x, because this side x I cut, this side also x I cut, so what remain, the middle part will be the length from here to here, that's going to be 10 minus 2x. Okay, the other side also here it will be 10 minus 2x, but the height here, which will be just x only, because this will be the height, like when you fold it, the height will be x. Okay, that means now our box has 3 dimensions. What are the 3 dimensions? 10 minus 2x, and the other one is again 10 minus 2x, and the third one is x. So the volume will be the product of the 3, you know, length times width times height. The volume will be 10 minus 2x times 10 minus 2x will be squared times x. But what must be the value of x to minimize the volume, I mean to maximize the volume, it says, so I have to expand this one. This is going to be the middle part only is 100 minus 40x plus x squared, then multiply by x outside. Okay, 10 squared will be 100, and 2 times 2 4 times 10 40 plus wait a minute, this must be 4x squared. then times outer. You know, we can expand by applying a minus b the whole square form, or multiply by expanding forms, and you will get this result. So v of x will be, because everything is in terms of x, 100x minus 40x square plus 4x cube. Since I'm asked to maximize the volume, first I will derivative. The derivative with respect to x will be 100 minus 80x plus 12x square. Then I will make it equal to 0, and then I will simplify. I can divide by 4. 25 minus 20x plus 3x square is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation, can be solved, and it can be factorized. The factorized form of this will be, it will be x minus 5 and 3x minus 5. You can check it. When you make it equal to 0, we can find the critical number. That means x is equal to 5 and x is equal to 3x. I mean x is equal to 5 over 3, sorry. Okay, this is 5 over 3. Then we have to construct sign chart, and then we have to observe the sign change. Okay, what are the factors? We said x minus 5 and 3x minus 5. When you construct sign chart, we have two numbers. First one is 5 over 3, the smaller one, and the other one is just 5. So this will be 0 here, and less than negative, greater than positive. And the second one will be 0 here, negative, positive, positive. And the sign change here, positive, negative, positive. So since it says maximum, to get the maximum one, we have to observe positive to negative change. And minimum, if it is minimum, we need to observe negative to positive change. Negative to positive. But this time, positive to negative will be here. So we need to find, the question says, what size square should be cut in order to maximize the volume? To maximize the volume, we said it is 5 over 3, so the answer should be, the answer should be A. Yes. So these are some of the selected problems, which is I think which is challenging. So hopefully I'll be back with additional questions. Thank you.